Hey guys, I just got back from Flagstaff, Arizona, and I am actually trying really hard to smile because I am so sad. Just a few days ago, I realized that my schedule is going to be switching like really soon. It's still not like official yet, so I'll share that with you as soon as that is okay to do so. But pretty much I have been enjoying a more flexible schedule because of having my own business and really just concentrating on that. But now with a regular kind of full-time schedule coming up, I realize my days are numbered on when I can spend a good chunk of time with Maddie. So he finished his 8-day stretch like of work, and then when he came home in the morning, I literally said, okay, get in the car. We're going to drive 7 hours to Flagstaff, Arizona so I could show him my old stomping grounds. I wanted to go to Flagstaff because if you've known me from my TV days, that was my very first TV station. I was very young, like in my early to mid 20s, and so green and so unappreciative of the beautiful place that I called home for about a year and a half. And so I wanted to revisit my youth and also enjoy some peace. I think I've shared multiple times during the pandemic of how much I hate being home. I feel stuck. And it's really important for me to push that reset button, especially as I transition into a brand new, like, kind of job situation and schedule. And so I don't really like driving, but I drove 7 hours and got to Flagstaff in the afternoon. I checked into a hotel where actually I used to work out of. I slipped on black ice one winter and ended up with like goose eggs on my head, and I still worked through that pain. And just being there reminded me of how ambitious and bold I was and how career driven I was and just what a different person I was. I feel like I lost a lot of myself, parts of myself, as life happened over the past 13 years since I've been there. So yeah, just walking downtown NAU, seeing old friends who would make the time to see me and catch up with me, doing all of that and seeing all those people, like little by little, I was reminded, of who I was and how goal oriented I was and how vibrant I was. Do you ever do that sometimes when you think back on your life and you wonder, where did that part of you go? From Tuesday to Friday, I just soaked it all in. My husband's been there once before, but we love playing golf. So this time we drove in our car with our golf clubs, and it just was such a peaceful round of golf. Quiet, trees everywhere. I played a good game, and so that helped. And even just seeing old faces, just friends that I met when I was so young and who knew me, they could just remind me of like, oh, remember that time when you scooped me on the story, or remember that time when you came up to Snowball for the first time. It's a ski area there, and it made me so happy, just to know that I was still remembered. And when I forget parts of myself, that they were there to tell me, yeah, you were like this, you did this, you said that. And a lot of things have changed. A lot of the businesses I used to go to, they're not there anymore. But then there are some new ones in place. And then there are others that have just weathered through the storms, especially with COVID. And this shirt is like my favorite souvenir from the trip. And it has a Bible verse and big bold letters says, be kind. Being able to tangibly get stuff like that from stores where I used to shop all the time and just be my little 20-something-year-old self again, it was priceless. We stopped by Laughlin on the way home. Laughlin was another one of those places where I used to go all the time as a child, and so it was a nostalgic place for me. And this time, again, because of COVID, I think it just recently reopened, it was different. My Flamingo Hilton is no longer called that, it's something else. But The river is still there, the walkway is still there. So in some way, retracing the steps from my childhood, going to places that made such a positive impact on my life, like it was so therapeutic. As we were driving back home from Laughlin on the 15, I saw so many cars heading towards Vegas, and I'm like, okay, I'm avoiding the crowd, I'm avoiding the craziness, I'm avoiding the chaos. I'm getting back home just in time to just sit and think back on the wonderful few days I've had, where I came back with a few more of those parts of me that I thought I lost because I regained them during my trip. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing this Memorial Day, but I hope you have a relaxing one, and I hope you do have that time to take a few minutes for yourself and to think about where you're at, you know? A lot of my church sermons lately have been about anxiety and depression, and these are two things that I relate to too well sometimes. And they're doing that because it's been an issue. You know, a lot of people have been facing anxiety and depression during the pandemic and maybe even before. And it's going to be something that's not resolved, right? Because although so much of this pandemic life we're getting used to, and with vaccines, things are getting a little bit normaler, but not really, right? I mean, some things are going to stay different, and we have to navigate through that. And sometimes that brings about anxiety and depression. And so if that's you, I'm there too. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that maybe you can't take days off like I just did. But maybe you can take an afternoon off, or even if in just a few hours at your home where you're at, and do something like that, where your mind gets that opportunity to just hit that reset button and unwind a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of my heart to you. I'm going to try to do more videos in this way again, especially as life continues to transition for me. I'm sure I'm going to be going through a lot of moments where I'd rather document raw feelings and just express them to you in a way that I hope could be helpful, rather than, you know, editing pieces all the time, you know, in a way that's more like reportery. I'm still playing with that balance of trying to figure out how I want to tell stories on this platform, and how I want to reach out to you, especially if you're a fellow survivor. So with that in mind, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day, and thank you for spending a part of it with me. All right, guys, take care. See you again soon. Bye.